with some basic questions that are likely to be your exam question for microeconomics. So I'll just go straight to your past question pack. And like I said, for those people that are just joining Dove Consults and that they don't have past question pack, please try as much as possible to create one and have one for yourself to be of help. Okay, basically we talked about these topics. The way I did it, financial accounting, let me run through it like that. In economics, microeconomics, we talked about the introduction, we talked about demand analysis, we also look at elasticity, consumer behavior, production theory, cost theory, market structure. So these are the outlines that makes up microeconomics. And you agree with me that we have exhausted this outline more than 4 times. You agree with me that then, let me not say now, that then you actually know everything for exam. Yes. Then, remember my word is then. But now, it's obvious that all of these things are looking like a cinema or a film tree to some people, which has now made me taking it upon myself to go over this course again.
Thank you. Thank you.
But if I'm going through it now, it will be touch and go. Sharp, sharp. So I'm going to start with the introduction. Let's see what we can cover there. And also look at demand and elasticity if time permits us. Now on the introduction, one of the things that you will see or you may likely see in your exam is the questions of microeconomics. What are the economic questions? Those are one of the questions you will see in your exam under this introduction. So there are 3 basic economic questions. Are you there? The first is the question of what? What to produce. What to what? Produce. The second is the question of what? How to what? To produce. And the last one is for whom you need to produce for. So these are economic questions that needs economic what? Answers. Now, a good example of what I just gave you now is exactly the B part of question of 2019-20. Page 219. Question number B. 1B. Page 219. Question number 1B. These are kind of questions you will see. It said, what are the 3 basic economic questions facing the society? Explain. What are the questions? What are the questions? What to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Now, they now say explain. So, on the basis of your explanation, this is how you write. For whom, let's start from what to produce. Let's start from what to produce. Now, the what to produce question, the what to produce question helps to solve helps to address or solve the various problems, such as 1, or better still, let's put it this way. The question is not to solve the problem, but rather the question is addressed by considering the following. Are you there? Please. Hello. Let's understand this first. You say these are economic questions. Questions are like problem. Are you there? But how do we address this question? Are you there? So when they say you should explain the problem and how you address the problem. Are you there? So the problem of what to produce, every producer or every business person is faced by this problem. But how can we solve this problem is where your explanation will be centered around. You get? So how do we address the problem? Number one, changes in climatic condition. So let's assume now that erosion or flood has taken over some parts of the world or part of this country. Are you there? The question of what to produce now, how do you answer that question? You have to look at the changes in climatic condition in that area. So what do you think these people would need more in that kind of area? So one of the things, if you are thinking of what to produce now, one of the things that will guide your production in that area is, let me produce mosquito net. Why? Because of the climatic condition there. Are you there? Let me start producing insecticide. Are you there? Because they will demand for it more because of the climatic condition there. You get? Yes, climatic condition will be different. You get? Like rain, this is the period of when rainy season is about to go now. Dry season is coming in, Abi. So most people producing water, sachet water now, will expand their production capacity. You understand? So climatic condition varies in every aspect.
My answer will be different from
Yes, sure.
For the examiner, whoever is marking my stuff to be able to understand that, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I have to say, okay, for the climatic condition that's
Definitely. So changes in climatic condition now. For example, you can now write. For example, during rainy season, the producers of raincoats, the industry of raincoats, not the producers of raincoats, rather, the industry of raincoats and other materials relating to that season will increase production as a result of new entrants into the market or into the industry. You get? So what we are saying is that as a result of new entrants into the industry, new entrants will come in because it's a free and fair market. New entrants will come in. Why? Because there's a changes in climatic condition and such. There will be high demand for raincoats and other materials relating to that season. You understand? So as such, it will bring in new entrants in order to reduce the profit level of that market. You understand? That's one. Number two, changes in customers' preference. Let's see the amount. This is just 6 marks. Are you there? It's 6 marks. You don't need to write too much. So let me not waste your time. Changes in what? In customers' preference. So as customers begin to change their preference towards a particular product, what would you do? It instigates your what to produce question, or it helps you to answer the problem of what to produce. So for example, if customers are demanding for more bottled water than sachet water, and you want to go into production, you prefer to produce bottled water than sachet water. You get? Customer preference would have changed. So as such, it drives or it enhances your answer to that question of what to produce. You get? Number 3 again, availability of resources. You get? So where the markets or the industry or the area where there is sufficient resources, like in Nigeria, for example, if you want to answer the question of what to produce in the oil industry, you can easily answer it. Why? Because you say Nigeria has oil, they have their abundant resources. So as such, let me go into oil. You get? Or Nigeria has land. Are you there? There are a lot of areas of land that they have not even used. Let me go into farming. You get? Of a particular. So the availability of resources, it can even be money. You get? If you have access to getting money from loan from banks, it can also enhance your area of what? Investment. So in an area where you know that there is available resources, you tend to drive it helps you to answer your question of what to produce also. Then lastly, favorable government policies. So that area government has favored can also help you to answer your question of what to produce. You get what to produce. Yeah, favorable government policy. So one of the area government has actually favored now is agriculture. You get? So in that area now, if you want to really, you are thinking of what to produce. Bros, government has actually favored agriculture. Don't think you can go into production of maybe in the and those are other challenges for what to produce, especially in a country like Nigeria. You get, but you can't, because of the challenges, now not decide for what to produce. In as much as it's part of what will guide your decision, but we are looking at it from the aspect of all things being equal. There is no challenge. These are things that can aid your what to produce. Okay. The next one is how to produce. How do I produce? Now you know that in the process of trying to decide how to produce, what you are trying to decide here is your production facility. Are you there? Your scale of production. Are you there? How to produce is looking at your production facility, your scale of production. Are you there? So one of the ways to address this problem is one, availability of technology. How do you address this problem? It's a problem, it's a question. How do I produce? How do I produce is a question of that looks at the scale of your production. So how do you address this problem of how do I produce? One, you are looking at the availability of what? Technology. Number two, technical know-how. So you are now going to start looking at this technology I want to use. Do I have the right people that can man it? That's your technical know-how. Because if you buy big equipment and nobody can operate it, what would you do? It's useless. Number three, scale of production. Are you going to run on a long term or a short term scale? I mean, how do I call it now? A big scale of production whereby you have a very big plant producing a large scale, or you are going to work in a small scale and grow to a large scale, and depending on what you want to do. And also your competing or competitive process of production. You're also going to factor that, because how to produce, you need to consider what other people are their production system before you can develop your own, so that you can be competitive in the market. Either if everybody are using machine and you want to use hand, your output will not be, so you have to consider in answering that. So, and one of the things that telecommunication, what they do is this. That's why you see that most Nigerian companies, most Nigerian individuals cannot just jump into telecommunication industry. You get, because of the large technology that they have inculcated into that industry. So you can, if you want to now start your telecom now, you cannot just plug two wires together and say you want to do telecom. You get it? So you have to look at how is this system currently run, and what are you going to bring in that will make a difference. Am I making sense there? Then lastly, for whom to produce. For whom to produce. Now you are looking at the people. Are you there? For whom to produce, you are looking at the people. They are social-cultural, they are social-cultural, what do you call it? their sociocultural position, you know. So you are looking at the people that will demand for your products, their demography, you get, their culture, you get. Those are the things that question is helping you to solve. So how do you address it? Number one, culture of the consumers. You cannot go and set a brewery in Bonu.
Burn it down.
Burn it. So I want to produce. For whom to produce? I want to produce brewery. I want to produce beer. Boronu, they have a good land that can help me to. Then you now go and site your plants. You are enter problem now. You get.
If you have access to raw material out there,
then you can transport it, because the culture of these people does not allow it. So when you are considering for whom to produce to, you need to look at the culture. You understand? Number three, the level of wages and salary.
You said only one.
Number two, wages and salary. Now, for, you know, we set up a bakery firm. And one of the things that I considered when I was pricing, it's too small. Now the price level is too small. Why would you charge this kind of price? I say, bros, the place you are cited is part of the things you consider when you are setting price. You don't just say you want to set price and say, oh, because people are, you will now go and set price that will be, you eat your products. Work across every level of income. So, as of when I started, I have 50 naira bread. I have 100 naira bread. I have 200 naira bread. I have 450 bread. I have 600 bread. So I meet up all the classes of people. And funny enough, these two bread move more than anything. It moves more than anything. Okay. The 15 naira bread is like a cupcake. They just roll it like a buns, you know. The 100 naira bread is normal squared. Now, why they were asking for why most of my people were saying that increased price is too small, is because they felt that the quality that we have added, we should change price. So I developed my price system in my laptop. I factored everything. I've done my calculation, and I did the minimum to break even. No, serious one. The minimum to break even. So the minimum to break even, I charge it. But you know, most people will be looking at other people when charging price. But me, I look at cost of things and set my minimum benchmark. So now this one I sold for 70 naira. This one 140. This one 250. This one 500. This one 650. You get? So the question now is that the community I'm located in is like a village. When I mean like a village, their income level is within, is within the normal minimum wage rates, 30,000, and most of them are farmers. So most of them don't earn minimum wage rates. Most of them go to farm, bring their produce and sell. So those people cannot cough out 1,000 naira. They cannot cough out. The minimum they can cover is it's bread now. Let's take bread and beans. Buy 100 naira bread. I have 5 children. Sometimes they will even come. Some parents will come and say, give me 10 of this one. I have 5 children. I have 10 children. They will just buy one. They will just share. Put beans on table for a plate like that. So breakfast is ready. you get the point. So, and these two bread, in short, now this one and this one are moving like mad. Because most people, due to the economic situation now, most people have actually grown out of 50 naira is more like we do not start looking for 20 naira to add to it. Let's just buy one of 140. At least that one I will be full, you know. So when considering price, you must look at that demographic, their level of income. Otherwise, you go and charge them price. Do you know what they were saying I should charge? They were saying, bros, come on, if you want to start this kind of thing, you make them know that you are top notch. I say, bros, I'm not top notch. Let me start low. so that gradually they will. Okay, why do I cite in the village? The one in the fridge, I'll bring it. The one I brought was don't press, so the people who just there around, I can't give one. But the one in my fridge, I'll carry and come tomorrow. Okay, are you guys are not coming tomorrow? Yeah? Why do I start in the village? Good. That is another thing. That's another thing. Now, when we started, when I thought of setting up that site there, most people say, how can you set this kind of thing here? This place is no. They should be taught. I said no. One of the things you look at in setting any business is the dimension of population, or there's what they call it, population density. You get, and according to my pastor, Pastor Kojo, he said there is more in the tillage of the poor.
That's true.
There is more in the tillage of the poor than even the rich. The rich men, they don't keep money in their hand. They are either investing or the money is in one asset. But the poor people, they have money. They have money. So my competitor outside, they might not be able to sell up to one bag. You get, but comfortably, we can just do one bag. You get the point? People will just come and buy. They will just come and buy. Without you distributing, they will just come because they want to eat. They want to eat fresh bread.
And it's fresh.
You get, they will just come, they want to eat fresh bread. People, they are many. But if you go to the town, the things you'll be seeing will be motor driving past you. They will be no, thank you. Now competition will now come in. No. I mean, I know them now. No. It must be what's called this this big name brand, and the cars will be passing you. Yes, they will all perceive your smell. If I say bakery day here, one day I'll come check. But these people, once they perceive the smell, they are always working with pants. The children work with pants. What is bread? 1,500, 100. They don't buy and finish. So those are other things. But they are still, as you grow gradually, because the town, especially in that side, the people baking bread at the town side, they've developed capacity. They've developed skill. Like most of them will start the business with money, so they will buy all the things that they need to get ahead. So you cannot go now with your small legs, say you want to go start competition with those big shots. So you can be easily crushed. So by the time you get capacity in the village, then you can now move to them. Then, even though they are crushing, but you can support yourself with this one to crush them back. Let's continue. So number 3 is demography. So demography is another part of the things you consider when you talk about for whom to what? To produce. So these are likely questions that you see under the introductory aspect of economics. Now, another question you see again is, you see the question on demand and price relationship. Let's write. Subheading, demand-price relationship. That's what you see again in. But please take note, this one we just did now is a likely exam question. Demand-price relationship. So under this part, we look at factors that affect demand. What are the factors that affect demand? Price. Price of other what? Other commodity. Income. Taste. And what? Preference. Government policy. What else? So these are basic ones that can affect what? Demand. Oh, I didn't see your message. Now, this is how your exam question will come. Let me show you in one of these years how your exam question will come on this part. Go to page 222. Let's just see how the exam question will come on this part. This was 1819 question. Question number 1B. It says, how do change in the following factors affect demand for a commodity? Price, income, price of substitute, adverts, population. You get, so these are factors that affect demand. Are you there? So let's talk about them each one after the other. Then if time does not permit us, we can call it a day. At least we are just starting, and then okay, let's go. Price. Price have an inverse relationship with quantity demanded. Price have an inverse relationship with what? Quantity demanded. That is, the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. Okay, I just have 10 more minutes. Then number 2, price of other commodities. Price of other commodities. Now, please take note. This price of other commodities, it's important we break it down. I always do this, especially for those that can remember what we were doing there. Now, price of other commodity can come in 2 forms. It can come in as a complementary goods, or as a what? Substitute goods. So when you say price of other commodity, if you look at what this question was telling us on page 222, look at it. Page 222 says, the question number 1B says, price of what? Substitute. So he's looking at it from one direction. Under price of other commodity, but for substitute. They can also change it to say for complements. Are you there? So now let's look at it for substitute first. When you say for substitute, let's go. For substitute, the price of other commodity have a positive effect. Has a positive what? Effect. That is, the higher the price of commodity X, that is, the higher the price of commodity X, the higher the quantity demanded for commodity Y. All things being equal. The higher the quantity demanded for commodity Y. All things being equal. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that commodity X and Y are what? Substitute goods. Am I making sense there? Are you there? Now see, let's do a practical explanation. Milo and Bonvita, are they not substitute goods?
Yeah.
If the price of Milo increase, let's say Milo is sold for 100 naira, now increase to 200 naira. What will happen to the quantity demanded for Bonvita if the price has not changed? It will go up. So you see that the effect is what? Is positive. Am I making sense there? That's when they say the price of other commodity. What will be the effect on the quantity demanded of the other commodity? Not really. You can shop for price, yeah. This one is inverse relationship. Price quantity. You get? But it depends on the question. But for this question, you don't need to. You just explain and move on. Okay, let's go. Then when you say for complements, let's be fast so that I will round up before this session. For complements, for complementary goods, the price of other commodity is inversely related. For complementary goods, the price of other commodity is what? Is inversely related. That is, the higher the price of commodity X, the lower the quantity demanded of commodity Y. So I'll just explain it so that you understand. So when you say goods are complement, so let's take a look at bread and butter. Are you there? Now, don't forget, human being has a ration. They are rational. I hope you know.
Yeah.
Human being are rational. When I mean rational, it means that if there is a rise in price, you will likely not buy that commodity again.
Yeah.
I hope you know.
Yeah.
That's being rational. Now, there's a rise in price of bread. And the only thing you take bread into is butter, all things being equal. There's a rise in price of bread. Abi? What it means is that you will likely reduce the quantity demanded for what? For butter.
Yeah.
Why? Because the demand for bread will also drop. Because you are not buying bread anymore. So definitely you will not buy butter. So what we are saying is that for complementary goods, the price effect is what? Is negative. The higher the price of one complement, the lower the quantity demanded for it what? For the other complements. Am I making sense there? Good. Let's look at income also. Let's be fast. Let's look at income. Then I might stop in income so that I don't want this session to over without finishing it. Now, income also is broken down into two. We have inferior goods and we have normal goods. Are you there? I'll stick to this, but there are other kind of goods, like the ostentatious goods. Yeah. So let's look at it now. For inferior goods, are you there? The income relationship is inverse. For inferior goods, the income relationship is what? Is inverse. That is, the higher the income, the lower the demand, not the quantity demand now, the lower the demand for inferior goods. Yes. So any goods you buy less as a result of high income is known as what? Inferior goods. Am I making sense there? Now look at for normal goods. It's the opposite. For normal goods, the income effect is positive. For normal goods, the income effect is what? Is positive. Are you there? So that is, the higher your income, the higher you demand more for what? For your normal goods. The higher your income, the higher you demand more for a what? For a normal goods. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll continue on this section on other, which is taste and preference. And okay, yeah. Let me just end it with them. You get. I'll continue from here in my subsequent class. And please, like we already know, we are just starting, so it will not be nice if we just finish everything again today. Because I know, no, people are not coming tomorrow. No, you are not even coming tomorrow because there's one of my teachers that I want him to also be teaching accounting. So I want to be using him to be teaching maybe on Sunday sometimes. So if I told me I'm teaching accounting, I want him to also be, yeah. Let's finish your exam before I call somebody to be teaching you for accounting. No, the new year one. Oh, about cross this thing as well.